The Peñón de Ifach is a symbol of the Costa Blanca and is a limestone rock of around 50,000 metres squared, 332 metres high and 1 kilometre long. It's one of the most visited natural spaces in the area, but getting to the top can't be taken for granted. The route itself includes two sections. The first section is from the visitor centre onwards and leads up to a tunnel of around 30 metres that was built in 1918 to put an end to rather dangerous climbs at that particular point. It runs along a fairly regular path with a couple of very, very pleasant viewing points. Through the tunnel, fitted with ropes and chains to prevent slipping, we get to the eastern part of the route, and this is where the path narrows and becomes a more complicated section due to the slopes that get you to the top of Peñón. Quick spoiler alert, I didn't slip or break any bones for once. I hope you can join my friends and I as we clamber up to the top of Peñón. climb went well. We set off a bit later than I hoped for, so I was a bit worried that the temperature might become a problem. It was a very bright and sunny day, but in fact it remained a steady 18 to 20 degrees or so. Very pleasant, actually. Every time I visited Peñón in the past, I've invariably had a shoe disaster. The first time I went up, the running trainers that I had on were pretty much destroyed by the rocks on the way down. Another time, my strong shoes I was wearing because I'd learned the lesson from the trainers were actually unable to get any grip on the rocks, and I ended up sliding and getting badly scratched. And the previous time that I'd gone up with my friend, the soft sole shoes that I was wearing because I'd learned from the lack of grip were fine on the climbs up and down, but they were awful on the stony pathway and the large rocks, and my feet were horrendously painful for weeks and weeks afterwards. Today, I wanted to get it right, so wore trail running shoes, Saucony Exodus Ultras. They were as grippy as I'd hoped on the climbing and the descending sections. Fantastic, actually. Well, at least most of the time. And they were also very good on the stony pathways. The only sections when I wasn't truly comfortable with them were the really shiny, worn and wet areas near the very top and on the early part of the route where the pathway tiles were super shiny and quite wet. Oh, and in the tunnel, of course. The climb and the descent took around 2.5 hours for us, as predicted in all of the guides for Peñón, and that included quite an extended stay on the top, enjoying the view, taking loads of pictures for myself and for other climbers. Actually, if the climbing up was bad, as I already mentioned, the descent was super tricky. I've almost always had issues and ended up ruining my clothes on my feet as I slid on the rocks. No such drama today, thank goodness. The trick, I think, was to be very patient and not rush. My grippy trail shoes also helped. My friends are frequent visitors to Calpe, and they know the mountain pretty well. So I'm really indebted to them for guiding me both up and down safely. If you're ever in the Calpe area of the Costa Blanca, I definitely recommend a hike up Peñón. Don't wear normal running shoes. If possible, wear trail shoes like me that are grippy on rock. That way you're far more likely to have a safe climb and, even more critically, a very uneventful descent. Well, uneventful other than the breathtaking views. If you've actually made it this far to the end of the video, congratulations. That's awesome. So thank you very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow runners.